Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacy if you're new here. And today I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I read in the month of October. We're about halfway through at this point, so I'm doing a recap of where I am currently, and then as I finish books, I'll add more little clips from there. So I read a couple of books by Lynn Painter. I read The Do-Over, which was a super cute teen romance where the FMC was stuck in a time loop of repeating the Valentine's Day over and over. She thinks she needs to change everything about what happened during this day, but it turns out she just needed to embrace one singular event that happened. And after a few days of repeating all of the things and trying to change the specific events, especially the ones where she's like, this was the worst day ever, she decides to ignore everything and just go off the rails, spend the day. And she ended up spending the whole day with her chemistry lab partner who she had never spoken to in her life. I really enjoyed that book. I think I read it in 2 sittings. For one night I couldn't sleep, so I stayed up until 1 a.m. reading it. Oh, I thought I read another Lynn Painter book in October, but I read it in September. So see my last video for that book. I read Funny Story by Emily Henry, and it was super cute. It was about a FMC, MMC who both had relationships prior to really getting to know each other. Their significant others end up, for some reason, getting together and essentially cheating on them. So then for some reason they became the FMC, MMC became roommates. And it was a cute book. I really enjoyed reading it. And then I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, which is another fairly new book. And it was a little bit different than her usual books, but I really, really enjoyed it. I love that Ali Hazelwood focus on characters in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics kind of fields. And so this one was more of a technology / biology company, and it was super cute. It was surrounding growing up from poverty, so the rituals and things that you might take with you through that. And so that was a big difference there. This book was not in the style where there's a ton of tension and build up. It had a lot more spice than her usual books, and there wasn't that build up of tension of no, we shouldn't be together, but for some reason we keep talking and starting to like each other. There was a lot more spice in it, so they had a sexual relationship before a true romantic relationship. And the way the audiobook was a little different than I've ever experienced. It was a dual POV, which I do enjoy, and it had dual narrators. So a female for the female point of view, and then a male narrator for the male point of view. So I have heard many, many audiobooks in that style. What was different was, so we're in the female point of view, female narrator is narrating, so any dialogue when she's interacting with the male main character was done in the narration from the male narrator, which was interesting. I just never have seen that before, so it was just different. I'm not sure if I liked it, but I'm not sure that I hate it either. So I know that people really love that, but I have no specific feelings towards it, to be honest. I read a cute little rom-com where 2 college friends made a marriage pact that when they turn 30, they will, if they're not married, they're going to marry each other. It was called When We're 30. I don't remember who it's by. I didn't write it down for some reason, so it'll be somewhere on the screen. And it was super cute, and I really enjoyed that one. I think I listened to it in a day or 2. And then I've been reading the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas with a friend, and we finished Air Fire, which is book 3 in the series, or 4-ish, depending on your reading order. I really love this series. I think every book has so much detail in world building, character building, and just story, and each one is so good in their own way. And so this book was extremely heavy on the world building, character building, because we got introduced to so many new characters, and we learned more about the word keys and like the memories from our female main character about the day her parents were killed, which has been mentioned in bits and pieces throughout the series thus far. And I loved how that ended, and it gave you like, I want to read the next one immediately. Also, we finished the Queen of Shadows. This is where we learn the true identity of our female main character, and we learn more about how magic had disappeared and where it went. And then we learn about more about the king and his background and things like that. I mean, we get more in depth in the characters that were introduced in the last book. I think there's another character that gets introduced that was mentioned previously, very briefly, in a previous book. But if you weren't paying attention and don't remember, you're not going to pick that up, which I definitely did not the first time because this is a reread for me. But love this book. I love the whole series. It's so good. So I read a bunch of books by Carla Luna. She's a romance author, and they're all an interconnected kind of series. And so I read Red Velvet, Blue Hawaiian, and White Wedding, and they were all super cute, super fun little, predictable romance, because that's what I've been in the mood for, because when rereading the Throne of Glass series, and I tried getting into a couple of different fantasy series, which I do want to return to, but I stopped reading those. I just don't want to get into too many things where I have to pay a ton of attention to at the moment. Those were all super cute. Blue Hawaiian was kind of about a family wedding in Hawaii and all of the things that go along with, big family events, and a side love story that has nothing to do with the actual people getting married in that book. And then there's Red Velvet, kind of takes place in the fall. I read that one first and then realized that Blue Hawaiian technically comes first in like the chronological sequence of the story itself, which it doesn't matter the order you read, you get a good sense of the story without knowing anything, but each book kind of takes place with different characters in the same world, and I love interconnected romances. I think they're a lot of fun. And then White Wedding was a Christmas themed wedding style, like that was the big event in the book. And it didn't have a ton of like Christmas elements to it because it wasn't about Christmas. It was just it was around Christmas and that Christmas wedding, but the rest of it wasn't 100% Christmas. But I know it's a little early for Christmas books, but I really liked it, and I was kind of sucked into the world, Carla Luna, so I read it and highly recommend. I read Tower of Dawn. So this was a choice. So Tower of Dawn, Empire of Storms happened at the same time. We decided to read Tower of Dawn before Empire of Storms, but skipped the last chapter of Tower of Dawn because spoilers. I actually accidentally read this in this order last year because for whatever reason, Audible had it listed as if it was next, and I was driving when I was switching between books. Don't recommend, but that's what happened, and I actually liked it because of the cliffhanger at the end of Empire Storms. It was a crazy cliffhanger, so unless you're doing the tandem read, which I have not done, and I probably will never do unless I actually have physical books, but I don't. I have audio and ebooks, which is fine. It's just too much to kind of go through in those formats, especially if I'm listening while driving. So instead of going in publication order, reading Empire Storms, getting to that cliffhanger, going through an entire story with different characters, and then kind of revisiting that cliffhanger before heading into Kingdom of Ash, we decided to do Tower of Dawn first. I really like Tower of Dawn. It is one of my favorite books. The story is great. The character growth and development. There's some blossoming relationships of characters. We meet some new characters. We learn some new information. I really enjoyed that book. A lot of people don't like it. They think it's boring, but I liked it. I read an interconnected series by Carla Luna that follows different archaeological sites. So Field Rules was one in Greece, and then the next one is Troy Story, which is set in Troy. There's another one, I haven't read it yet. This kind of takes the same character world as the previous trilogy that I just read, and they're romance interconnected series, and they're super cute. I like them so far. super excited to continue on and read the next one. I read Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Colquhoun. This was a Christmas book. I definitely jumped a little bit ahead into the Christmas season, but I love Christmas stories and I'm not sorry. It is what it is. I got to the Christmas book game late last year. Was not doing that this year. So I read that, which was a romance about a one night stand that happened on Christmas Day. And then for all an entire year, they basically forgot about each other. I mean, they didn't forget about each other, but they re-met again due to different circumstances, different things by accident. They re-met again on Christmas the following year, and it was super cute. I liked that book. And then I read the entire Caraval series, and it was so much fun. I love the game, the magic, the whimsy, and the twist at the end of the first two books. What? Like, I had so many questions. I had questions and I loved it. And then finale just kind of gives you like the aftermath of the things that happened. Um, we're not in another Caraval, but it was still really good. I did miss the like sense of magic and whimsy and all of that from the first two. And then I read Spectacular, which is the little holiday novella that just was released, and it was cute, but I probably won't read it again. It was fine, but I had already finished those two books, so I'm like, let's just continue on. It's a super short novella, but it was really cute. Moving on to my November TBR. So I'm going to separate this out by books that I'm going to read because I read a lot. I only read my ebooks, my e-reader, at night before I go to bed, and then I listen to most of my other books because I like to listen while I work out, listen while I crochet, listen while I drive, listen while I cook. I just like listening to books while doing other things too, so I'm able to actually read a lot more. And I didn't realize that I process information a lot easier listening to it in that way. If you're giving me instructions, I need to see it. I need to see it done. But like in terms of books, I can listen to it and process it exactly the same way. If I can listen and read at the same time, which I typically do because the Kindle app on Android lets you like, it's like called assistive reader, and it like highlights the word as it goes along. And so when I'm laying in bed reading, I'm also listening and reading at the same time. I really like doing that. It's my favorite way of reading. Plus, if for some reason I get distracted and someone walks in the room and starts talking to me, I don't have to find where I was in the book because it's already highlighted when I pause it. So that's always nice. I love it. I don't know if the Kindle itself does it because I don't have a Kindle, but the Kindle Android app does it. My Apple app doesn't, but my e-reader is an Amazon tablet, and I read books on there. So these are the books that I'm going to read on my e-reader. Tour Wars by Carla Luna. It is part of that interconnected series I finished in October. And then I want to read this interconnected Christmas series by Jenny Holiday. A Princess for Christmas. Duke, actually. So This Is Christmas. I read So This Is Christmas last year, and it was so cute. I want to read it again, especially knowing it's part of an interconnected series. I love them, if you haven't noticed. Confessions of a Christmas Holic by Joss Wood, The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score, and then these are going to be the books I'm going to listen to. My friend and I are on Empire Storms now, so I'll continue with that one. Not sure if we're going to finish Kingdom of Ash in November because both of those two books are really long. We probably will, but we will see. And then Once Upon a Broken Heart, like the whole series by Stephanie Garber. Since I just finished Caraval, I want to continue on in that world and not jump all completely headfirst into all Christmas books because the remainder of this list is Christmas books. So another interconnected series by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone, A Merry Little Meet Cute, Snow Place Like LA, Jolly Ever After, Seas and Greetings, A Jingle Bell Mingle. I read A Merry Little Meet Cute last year and it was super cute. Didn't realize it was part of an interconnected series. And I had started Snow Place Like LA, but I didn't finish it. I don't know why. I guess I didn't realize that they were interconnected. I'm not sure, but I just wasn't into it at that moment, but let's see how it goes this year when I go through and read all of those. And then Meet Me Under the Mistletoe by Jenny Bayliss, Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, and A Royal Holiday by Jasmine Guillory. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of these books in November, but I'm going to start off with the non-Christmas books first. Finish the Carla Luna series, and then the Throne of Glass books that are remaining, Once Upon a Broken Heart series, and then dive into the Christmas books. And then whatever Christmas books I don't get to in November, I will just push off to my December TBR, and my December books list is going to be all Christmas books. So that's fun. I'm excited. I love Christmas stories, so that'll be a lot of fun. And I tend to have a lot more time to read than my friend does, so when it comes to the Throne of Glass series, I've been kind of jumping back and forth. I'm rereading it, so I know the story, but it's still been a lot of fun rereading it with her. So she's already a good way through Empire Storms right now, and I barely started it this morning while I was working out. And I just don't want to like zoom too far ahead of her and accidentally spoil something, so I'm trying to keep pace somewhat with her. I probably need to catch up a little bit, and then I'll probably jump between that and like the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I hope that you liked it. I am super excited for November books and for just I'm excited for the holidays too, I guess. I usually don't get that excited, but please subscribe if you haven't already. My goal is to reach 500 subscribers or as close as possible by the end of the year. I am just over 100 subscribers right now, and I am slowly getting there. And so if you enjoyed this content, if you like anything about books, Disney, crafts, crochet, fitness, nutrition, and outdoorsy stuff, travel, please subscribe. I have a ton of fun content planned. I am passionate about a lot of these topics. So if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.